KREM 2 News at 4 begins now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Whitney Ward. Tom, we know the temperatures are just going to keep going up, up, up. We're going to get to your forecast here in just a quick moment, but we do want to get to our top story, which is certainly heat related. Fire danger right now is extreme, and there are now burn restrictions in effect across all of Spokane County, and also there are multiple cities that are enacting burn bans and restrictions as well. So let's take a look. Spokane Valley, also across Spokane County, Airway Heights, Cheney, and Deer Park. That means that all recreational fires in any of these places and across the county are not allowed. That includes any outdoor fire, perhaps just in an outdoor fireplace on your patio. All open burning also not allowed. All right. Also, manufactured portable outdoor devices, those are allowed. So fireplaces, barbecues, patio warmers, those are okay as long as they're enclosed. Approved fuels in an appropriate device, that's also okay. And that's going to include clean and dry seasoned firewood, charcoal, natural gas, and propane, again, in those approved canisters. Designated campfires in parks and campgrounds, those may be allowed, but you're going to make sure you want to check in with your campground before you head out so you know exactly what to expect. And as a reminder, the penalty for not following through with these burn restrictions, that can result in a misdemeanor. Fines also range from $800 to $10,000. So we certainly want to take it seriously. And as, of course, we check in with meteorologist Tom Sherry, this is that time of year when we know that we have to just be so careful, because it doesn't take much for a fire not only to start, but then to go just out of control.
Well, you're exactly correct on that. And we are looking for very hot weather, the hottest temperatures we've seen of the season so far, today, tomorrow, and again on Wednesday. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of wind in the forecast, at least over the next 24 hours. You're looking at the satellite and radar picture there, not showing you any cloud cover at all across the area. So again, we've got very clear skies, lots of sunshine, and it's 89 degrees. We did hit 90 last week for our only 90-degree day. We may get to 90 again today. Matter of fact, I think we will get to 90 today, and I think we're going to see 90-degree temperatures again on Tuesday and Wednesday. Boy, the water at Lake Coeur d'Alene sure looks good. For this evening, we'll look for 90s dropping down into the 80s, 63 the expected overnight low, 95 degrees expected on Tuesday. That will be the hottest day of summer so far this year. When we take a look at your weekend forecast, we're cooling back down into the mid to upper 80s with sunny to mostly sunny skies. I'll check the rest of your 7-day forecast, all coming up in a few minutes. Whitney?
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And now we begin our coronavirus coverage. Several changes were announced just last week by Governor Jay Inslee. So we want to take a look now at kind of the top things that you need to understand as we head into this week. First of all, the governor has put limitations on the number of people who can gather now. Social gatherings are limited. Also, live entertainment is now banned. And third, the governor has warned again of a possible rollback if we cannot get our numbers under control. Tom?
Well, Whitney, let's start with the new gathering mandate. As of Monday, counties in Phase 3 will now be limited to private gatherings of 10 people or less. Those are the counties in green that you can see there on your map. Now, previously, that was capped at 50 people. Counties in Phase 2, like Spokane is, we are in Phase 2, we are only allowed to have private gatherings of 5 people or less. Live indoor and outdoor entertainment is also prohibited as of today. The new rules will not impact weddings, funerals, and spiritual services. Meanwhile, another stay-at-home order is not being ruled out by Governor Inslee. He says that's a real possibility if individuals don't adhere to the rules of face coverings and limited social gatherings. Today, Spokane Regional Health Officer Dr. Bob Lutz also says it's a distinct possibility.
I'm increasingly concerned about the fact that our incidence rate, the new cases, is higher now than it ever was in the past. And the trajectory is not encouraging for any county across the state. We also are seeing more hospitalizations, which is again something that we talked about earlier, sort of being a prime reason why we needed to stay home and stay healthy. And the reality is we're neither staying home nor staying healthy.
He adds that the community needs to start taking this pandemic seriously. Otherwise, the possibility of rolling back phases is very realistic. Meanwhile, an unpublished White House report shows 18 states that are in the red zone for COVID cases. That means 100 new cases for every 100,000 residents. And Idaho is included on that map, along with 11 other states. Those are places where more than 10% of COVID-19 tests came back positive. Whitney?
Yeah, Tom, and also coming up more in depth tonight on KREM 2 News at 5. The curve we know is just not flattening here in Spokane County. Dr. Bob Lutz is believing that social gatherings may be the #1 cause for the reason that our case numbers continue to go up. So Mark Hanrahan is joining us now live from the newsroom with more on who is actually driving this spike in cases. Hi, Mark.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Whitney. Dr. Lutz says younger people are driving the increase in cases, but part of the concern beyond just their health is that they're also interacting with older individuals. So Dr. Lutz believes it's only a matter of time before we see an uptick in deaths.
First of all, what young people need to do is not do what they've been doing, i.e. getting together and gathering. This is what's driving our cases, folks.
46% of cases in Spokane County have been connected to people ages 20 to 39 years old. So coming up on KREM 2 News at 5 tonight, our Amanda Rowley delves into the data and why the focus needs to turn to educating younger generations. In the meantime, Tom, we'll send it back to you.
Well, this just in, a contract employee at Spokane Veterans Home has now been diagnosed with the coronavirus. Regina Ahn joins us live from the KREM newsroom with more updates. Regina.
Hey there, Tom. Well, Spokane Veterans Home says they are enhancing their checks now on everyone, including every 4-hour symptom and temperature checks for residents for the next 14 days. Here's what we know about that employee who contracted the virus. The contractor worked in the facility on Saturdays, providing therapy services to residents. The employee was wearing appropriate PPE at the time. Their last day of work was on July 11th. Residents and staff who've had direct contact with the employee have been tested for the coronavirus. The Spokane Veterans Home continues to screen staff upon arrival at work as well, and this includes a series of questions and a temperature check. In addition, the Veterans Home says they've notified residents, staff, and family, along with employees who might have been exposed. Live here in the newsroom tonight, Regina Ahn, KREM 2 News.
All right, Regina, thank you very much. In the meantime, we want to take a look at the numbers that are just in now from the Spokane Regional Health District. And you can see 91 new confirmed cases here in the last 24 hours. The total now sitting at 2,809, and 31 people are in the hospital. Right now, the recovery rate stands at about 42%. Over the weekend, there were also double-digit increases, including 237 new cases just between Saturday and today. And across the state line, the numbers continue to rise there as well. And testing for the coronavirus is expanding. They're trying to get more people tested. This comes after the Kootenai Health testing site was actually overwhelmed by patients. So let's take a look. Heritage Health, we know now, is going to be offering testing for at least 3,000 patients. Those tests are going to be administered by appointment only. Nasal swabs at drive-up locations, though, are also available in these following locations: Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Rathdrum, and Kellogg. If you'd like to schedule an appointment at Heritage Health, you just have to call the number that you can see right there on your screen.
Red state clear! The bombs are here! Red state clear! The bombs are here!
So more than 7 weeks of protesting continues in Portland. Escalating tensions with law enforcement is on the rise, with some of these protests turning violent. Now the Portland Police Association and community leaders are calling for an end to all the destruction.
Violence is not our way, but violence is not what we do.
For the people who are out here every night that are rioting and that are burning, and if they want to sit down and have a conversation, we're more than willing to sit down and have that conversation.
At least one Oregon attorney says it's actually the federal officers who are the ones escalating the violence. She's now suing several federal agencies for actions like this.
What is going on? We need to know. Who are you?
3 or 4 or 5 of them jumping out of the unmarked vans at night, grabbing people off the streets, putting them into their vans.
I'm really wondering if you think this is political.
I really do think this is political. I think it is politically motivated from the very top.
So, Tom, in the meantime, President Trump insists that he's sending in those federal agents to keep people and crowds safe.
That's right, Whitney. The president took to Twitter to say, quote, "We must protect federal property and our people."
Portland was totally out of control. The Democrats, the liberal Democrats running the place, had no idea what they were doing. They were ripping down for 51 days, ripping down that city, destroying the city, looting it. The level of corruption and what was going on there is incredible. And then the governor comes, "Oh, we don't need any help."
Meanwhile, top Democrats in the House are calling on federal inspectors to investigate the tactics being used in Portland, along with other U.S. cities. The president says he plans to send in more officers if local authorities can't protect federal property. Over on the west side of the state, overnight protests turned violent in a march through downtown Seattle to Capitol Hill. Seattle police say a second group later arrived with baseball bats. Dozens of officers were injured. One officer was sent to the hospital. Officials say 2 people have been arrested. Police used blast balls and pepper spray to get the crowd to disperse.